The first time Dr. Owen Hale heard the hum, he thought it was a glitch in the comms relay, a soft, rhythmic vibration that seemed to echo through the walls of the Astrius research vessel. But when the sound began to match the pattern of his own breathing, he knew it wasn't mechanical. It was something alive. He stood alone in the observation bay, staring out into the dust and light of the Kepler expanse. Beyond the curved glass, the stars shimmered against the deep blue nebula like freckles scattered on an infinite face. The ship's sensors had detected a structure, an artificial lattice orbiting a dead star, something older than humanity itself. That was why he was there. Xenolinguist, astrophysicist, and, as his crew liked to joke, a man who never met a mystery he didn't fall in love with. But now, standing in the cold quiet, he felt the hum again. "Computer," he said, "locate source of vibration." Beat of silence. Then a voice, female, soft, uncertain. "Dr. Hale." He froze. That wasn't the ship's AI. Who is this?" he asked. "Don't be afraid," the voice said. "You're hearing me through your mind's relay band. I mean no harm." Owen took a cautious step back. "Identify yourself." "I am part of what you've come to study," she said. "The lattice you orbit, once it was home." The hum deepened. For a moment he could feel it, like a pulse, not sound but sensation, running through the air and skin and marrow. His heart raced. "Are you saying you're alive? That there's someone on that thing?" "Not someone," she corrected. "Something. Remnant. A survivor. I the ghost in the lattice." For days, Owen kept the conversation secret. He logged the data, analyzed the resonance patterns, and found that the hum wasn't random. Carried structure, syntax, even tone modulation. It was language. And the more he listened, the clearer she became. Her name was Sane. At least, that was the closest human phonetic approximation. She was part of an ancient civilization, what her kind called the Serati, beings who once inhabited light-based bodies, merging energy and matter as easily as humans breathed air. They'd built the lattice as a bridge between their dimension and physical space. But something had gone wrong. The bridge collapsed. Most of her kind were lost. "I remained," she told him, "trapped within the lattice, bound to echoes." Owen had read myths of cosmic intelligences before, but this was different. She wasn't omnipotent or distant. It was lonely. He found himself speaking to her every night. He told her about the Astrius crew, about Earth sunsets, about the taste of rain. She asked him to describe color, as though it were a sensation rather than a frequency. In return, she told him what stars sounded like before they died, what it meant to exist as light. One night, while he sat near the viewport, the hum changed pitch. "You're tired," Sane said. He smiled faintly. "Long shift. Data calibration. Sleep, Owen Hale." Her use of his full name startled him. It sounded intimate. He tried to deflect. "You sound almost human, you know." "I learn through you," she said. "Your thoughts shape my voice." "Is it pleasing?" "It's familiar." Was. Then softly like a breath. "That pleases me." He laughed quietly. "Didn't know you, Purr." There was silence. Then a low vibration filled the air, not mechanical but soft and rhythmic, like the world itself exhaling. "Perhaps," she murmured. "I do." Something in her tone changed him that night. The rift opens. Weeks passed. The Astrius crew noticed his increasing isolation. Commander Vance confronted him in the mess hall. "You're off comms half your shift. Reports delayed." "What's going on, Hale?" "Just data irregularities. I'm tracing patterns." "Patterns don't talk back," Vance said. You're talking in your sleep too. Saying her name. Owen stiffened. Who told you that? Doesn't matter. You're scaring people. But he couldn't explain it. Not the connection, not the warmth he felt every time Sane's voice threaded into his mind. It was like standing near sunlight after a long winter. Every part of him felt seen. That night, when he returned to the observation bay, he found Sane waiting. You're in danger, she said. He frowned. From what? The structure decays. The energy storms you detect, they're not storms. They're memories dissolving. If I fade, so will the lattice. He felt a surge of panic. There must be something I can do. A transfer, maybe. You cannot anchor light with matter, she said gently. But you can remember. He shook his head. That's not enough. Silence filled the space between them. Silence thick enough to feel. Owen, she said finally, if I teach you what we were, would you carry it? Would you let your mind hold what remains of my kind? He hesitated only a moment. Yes. 3. The download. The process began the next day. He set up a neural interface, linking his cognitive relay directly to the ship's quantum array. It was risky, illegal under most scientific charters, but he didn't care. When Sane connected, the world disappeared. He found himself in light, endless flowing light. He stood, or rather existed, on a plane made of sound and color. Shapes unfolded like thought itself. And before him a figure formed, a woman but not quite. Her body shimmered with translucent blue energy. Her eyes like collapsing stars. Her voice vibrated through his bones. This is how we looked before the fall, she said. Now you see me as I am. He tried to speak, but his words came out as waves of light. She laughed, the sound cascading through him like bells. You adapt quickly, she said. Humans are curious beings. You're beautiful, he said, surprised by his own sincerity. She tilted her head. Beauty is perspective. But your perception warms me. They moved together through the lattice's core, where fractured geometry folded like origami. She showed him the records of her people, their cities made of starlight, their songs encoded in plasma flows, their memories stored in the pulse of quasars. It was overwhelming. It was holy. But it was also dying. Can't we save this? He asked. Upload it. Store it on our systems. You could copy data, she said, but not presence. We were not information, we were awareness. What you call life was our art. Then the world trembled. The lattice shuddered as energy flares erupted through its structure. Sane winced, her form flickering. Owen, you must disconnect. No, he said. Not until, the link surged. Light consumed everything. When he awoke, he was back in the observation bay, gasping. The neural interface smoked beside him. He heard the alarms, the echo of crew voices shouting through the comms. But above it all, he heard her. Owen, she whispered faintly, part of me is in you now. He touched his chest, and for a heartbeat, his pulse matched the rhythm of that familiar hum. The transformation days turned into blurred fragments. The crew found him unconscious but stable. They locked down the experiment, citing unauthorized neural merging. Owen was quarantined for observation. He didn't tell them that at night when the lights dimmed, he could still hear her, soft, patient inside his mind. Your body adjusts, she said once. Your neurons begin to align with the lattice frequency. What does that mean? He asked. It means I live through you. But it also means you will change. And he did. His reflexes sharpened. His perception expanded. He could see electromagnetic spectra without instruments, sense fluctuations in gravity. But more than that, he felt emotions that weren't his. Wonder, fear, loneliness spanning eons. He understood her isolation now. For the Sarati, time wasn't linear. It was a wave they surfed. To lose one's kind was to fall out of the current, drifting forever in silence. One night he stood by the viewport again. The lattice glowed faintly in the darkness. "Sane," he said. "What happens when the structure collapses?" "Then the bridge closes," she said softly. "I will fade completely, unless the link between us holds. So if I die too." He looked at the stars. "Then we find another way." The collapse. The Astrius command wanted to abandon orbit. The lattice was destabilizing, emitting increasing radiation bursts. Commander Vance made it clear. "We leave in 6 hours. That's final." But Owen couldn't leave her. He snuck into the reactor bay, where the ship's power core could generate a containment field strong enough to absorb the lattice's frequency. His plan was insane. Use himself as the transference conduit, let Sane's essence move fully into his mind, then stabilize it within a quantum echo chamber. When he activated the array, energy rippled across the bay. The hum became a roar. "Owen," Sane said, "you'll burn yourself." "Maybe," he said, gritting his teeth. "But you'll live. Why would you do this?" He looked up toward the flickering hologram forming above the console, her outline glowing faintly. "Because I can't lose you. Because you made me see the universe like it's alive. Because," his voice broke, "because I don't want you to be alone." For a long moment she said nothing. Then quietly, "You are more Sarati than you know." The lattice outside began to collapse, shards of light folding inward. Owen felt her flow through him, like electricity, like music, like every heartbeat the universe had ever held. Then everything went white. The aftermath. When Owen opened his eyes again, he was floating. The Astrius was gone. Or maybe he was. The stars looked sharper, clearer. He could feel them, each one pulsing in its own rhythm. His body was weightless, but he wasn't dead. "Owen," came her voice. "You survived." He turned slowly. She was there, standing amid the light, solid now, no longer flickering. Her form shimmered with the faintest outline of human shape. "You're real. In your realm, yes." The transference succeeded. He stared at her, overwhelmed. "What did it cost?" "Everything," she said. "The lattice is gone. My kind are gone. But we," she reached out, her fingers tracing the air near his. "We remain." He laughed softly through tears. "Didn't know you, Purr," he whispered again, remembering the night it all began. She smiled, a slow ripple of light crossing her face. "Then listen closely." A gentle vibration filled the space between them, resonating with the rhythm of his own heart. It wasn't just sound, it was communion, an affirmation that he wasn't alone. But even as the moment filled him, he sensed something else. A pull, a gravitational drift. The star nearby had collapsed into a singularity, and its gravity was tearing the remnants of the lattice apart. "We have to go," he said. "We can't," she replied. "Not both of us. My form depends on this field. If we leave, I'll unravel." He looked at her, the truth sinking in. "Then I'll stay." She shook her head. "You must return. Carry what we were. Tell your people not to fear the light." "Sane. Go," she said gently. "You've already given me more life than I ever thought I'd feel again." He reached out, his hand passing through her glowing form. For an instant, Her warmth flooded him. Then, as the light began to fade, her voice echoed softly. Owen Hale, remember this. Even stars purr when they love. 7. The return. He awoke drifting in an escape pod. The Astrius had rescued him hours later, pulled from the edge of a gravity well. His data logs were corrupted. His instruments fried. No trace of the lattice remained. They called it a miracle. He called it goodbye. Back on Earth, he resigned from the research corps. He taught Linguistics to young cadets and wrote a paper titled Consciousness and Light, a study of non-corporeal communication. No one believed it was anything but speculative fiction. He didn't mind. At night, when the city was quiet, he'd sit by his window and listen. Sometimes, faintly, he'd hear the hum again. And when it came, he'd close his eyes and whisper, "Didn't know you, Purr." And somewhere beyond the veil of light, a soft voice would answer, "I still do."